Hey everybody, this is Green Spud Trades here. So, in today's video, I want to comment on this thing going on YouTube. This Q Anon Patriot guy who people are talking about, who's been commenting stuff on 4chan saying that he's some type of insider with the Trump administration and they're going to do some type of swamp draining and clear out all the corrupt elites and whatever. I want to comment on this because these posts remind me a lot of another guy like this who appeared in the year 2000 named John Titor. So, for those of you who are unfamiliar with John Titor, this sort of John Titor has a lot of similarities to this Q Anon. Back around the year 2000, and this was before the 9/11 thing happened. There was a guy who went on a few forums at the time, probably the equivalent of 4chan today, where people like to talk about conspiracy stuff, and he went under the name Time Traveler Zero, and he called himself John Titor. And this guy claimed that he's from the year 2036 and was on a time travel mission to go back in time. And there's a really long story behind this. There's a whole website dedicated to his posts. So John Titor, he traveled back in time from the year 2036 to the year 1976 to gather parts for computers that they need in the year 2036 because of some type of post-apocalyptic society that they were living in, which was the result of, in his, what he called the world line, which is like the way events played out in his universe, he claims, is that the United States went into a civil war in the year, it was supposed to be 2015 or 2016 or something like that, where it was like just a global nuclear war, which set everybody back to the Stone Age, and people were trying to repair computers and stuff, and they needed parts, and for somehow the technology of time travel was still able to be preserved in the year 2036, despite them not having water and access to mass-produced food and such. But anyway, so this John Titor guy, it was really interesting. He had a really convincing story. I remember back in 2000 how cool this was, because this guy seemed really knowledgeable about the intricacies of how black holes work and how they could lead to time travel. And he was very detailed and meticulous in his posts, which is what made him so convincing. In very much the same way that Q Anon is very convincing for people who want to believe that he's some type of some type of patriot in the government now. So there's a few parallels going on here. One is the level of detail in the posts and this whole charade about somebody saying that they're privy to certain knowledge about something that's going to happen, and providing these little clues and little details. Q seems to have a little bit of a different style than John Titor in that he's dropping more questions, with the breadcrumbs, as he calls them, and kind of letting all the YouTubers and all the conspiracy theorists piece together his story and what he's about. John Titor was a little bit more direct in saying what his history was, which was at the time our future. But the second thing that's similar is that there are a lot of like parallel themes going on between what Q is about, like the type of people that the type of political ideology that he subscribes to versus what John Titor does, or what John Titor said, because both Q and John Titor, they're kind of very, I guess what you'd call conservative. John Titor was all in favor of Second Amendment and guns and stuff like that, and he, one of the things I remember in his post is that he said, if you want to find out how the next American Civil War plays out, look at the electoral map from the year 2000, and that'll tell you where the battle lines are. And you know, it's in a way kind of eerie. I think he was just a very intuitive guy who could kind of see the political environment at that time and project what it was going to be into the future. He said that around the year 2009 there would be some type of crisis that develops into a Waco type event every day, or every month, he says, and that'll escalate into the next American Civil War. I don't know, maybe some of the stuff that he said still could play out, but yeah. So there were a lot of parallels there in kind of, it just has kind of a similar tone to the values that Q seems to broadcast. Q, another thing that Q does is he posts pictures of places and the inside of vehicles that he's in. And John Titor liked to do this as well. He had pictures of the inside of his time machine, a little picture of his logo for his uniform, as he called it. And I think both the person who's making these Q posts, as well as whoever made the John Titor posts, and they could be the same person. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if Q is the new the new hoax that John Titor, the original John Titor, is pulling now. So the thing that makes me doubt this Q guy who's posting on 4chan is he hasn't really given us anything concrete to go by. I mean, he's putting in these little breadcrumbs of stuff that's going to happen, and people are saying, oh yeah, he's predicting Donald Trump's tweets and such. But I mean, is his success rate any better than, you know, like any other psychic or Nostradamus or something? I mean, has he really given us anything definitive to say, oh yeah, he really did predict that? I mean, for example, like, people who were reading his posts felt that he predicted the fall of the Saudi Arabian family, the corruption purging that they had over there in Saudi Arabia. They say that Q predicted that early. But did he? Because although he was talking about Saudi Arabia at the time and wealthy families, did he really know that was going to go down, or was it just a lucky coincidence? You know, I think Q could just have a little bit of luck on his side in some of the so-called predictions that he's making. And his style of posting by having the questions leaves a lot to the imagination. So it's like he's telling you like pieces of a story, and he's letting the people who's reading his posts, interpreting them, and posting them on YouTube put the rest of the story together. But you gotta ask yourself, why, if there's a guy who's on 4chan posting what's going to happen, or trying to give encouragement to the people who want to see corrupt people in the government taken out. You know, some people think that he's some type of patriot who's giving other patriots hope or whatever like that. But I think that's a very dangerous way of thinking. I mean, if Q is for real, what's his agenda? What's his real agenda? If he's really inside of the government and striking at insiders who are corrupt, why would he be posting his plans on a public forum like this? You know, just to let people on YouTube know about it? It seems very suspicious to me. You know, why would he be posting little secret codes and making it seem like he's communicating to other people who are reading 4chan posts that are a part of his group? I mean, I would imagine that there's better non-public ways of doing that as well. So, yeah, there's a very good chance that this guy is just a hoaxer. It's a very good hoax, a very interesting one, and kind of a fun one to follow. But, I don't know. Until this guy gives us something concrete, I think he could very well be the next John Titor. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents. If you want to see all of Q's posts, be sure to check out the QAnonpost.com, and then go ahead and compare it to stuff that John Titor said in the year 2000, Time Traveler Zero, and his site's, I think, johntitor.com. See you next time.